We're here at the Rolex 24. This is so cool. I'm sitting in the winning car. So let's go see what trouble I got into earlier.
On the spot.
What is about IMSA you enjoy so much? What are the factors that make you initially want to join the series and not say World of Outlaws, NHRA, or IndyCar?
The thing about IMSA is, like, I started watching IMSA when I was fairly young. I was probably like 7 or 8, and I just really loved the environment. I fell in love with a lot of the drivers, and I think the one thing that, like, I always wanted was, growing up, I always watched them line up for the national anthem, and that was just like my moment. So when I started with IMSA, that's like the only time I get really nervous is when we all line up for the national anthem. Then the fact that it is sports car racing, because there's other series out there that do sports car racing. It's mostly just like the competition, the notoriety, the level of drivers, the difference of cars, and I think really just like the fan base.
Do you see yourself eventually moving up to prototypes at some point? Is that something you want to plan to work on over time?
Prototypes isn't something that I've ever really thought of, so I've never driven anything that is remotely similar to a prototype. I've never driven an open wheel, I've never driven a kart, I've never really driven anything with legit aero and downforce until I got in a GT3 car last year, and I really like the GT3, so I could definitely see myself doing something in like GTD. I'm not going to say I would never be in a prototype, because I would be open to it. Like, if someone asked me to drive a car, I'm going to drive it regardless of what it is.
What is your interest level for racing other major motorsport events like the Indy 500?
I am going to test like an open wheel in a couple of months, just to do it. We'll see how it goes. I've never done really any open wheels, so like Indy isn't something that I'm super interested in, but I would never say no if the opportunity was there.
Do you still feel like there's a female label hanging over you as a driver? What kind of pressure or responsibility do you feel as a female athlete attempting to break barriers? Is it an issue you find yourself always having to deal with?
So the female aspect is always one that I try and tiptoe around. Things can go very, very south very quickly if you say the wrong thing. It's definitely a label that's always going to be there, I think. I don't think we're ever going to get rid of that label. It's never going to be Taylor Hagler, the race car driver. It's always going to be the female race car driver, and that's something that I don't think we're ever going to get rid of, which in itself comes with certain stereotypes, as with maybe women are more dramatic, they're divas, they're harder to handle, they can't race as well, this and that. Like, those are stereotypes that me and like Christina Nielsen and Catherine Legg and Haley Deegan and Aurora Strauss, like, we all sit here and we try and get rid of. But at the end of the day, I think it's something that we're always going to be faced with, and kind of just gotta suck it up and deal with it and prove them wrong.
Yeah. Honestly, I hope that goes away soon, though. I mean, times are changing for hopefully the best.
Times are changing, but I feel like within the years of women being in motorsports, I think we have made a lot of progress, but I think we still have a long way to go. I mean, I know from personal experience, like, trying to get sponsors is pretty much next to impossible. And for like the women that are in upper series, like IMSA, trying to go into F1, stuff like that, until Tatiana, majority of the teams didn't want to give women the chance, so it was harder to get the sponsors that were willing to pay the big bucks to put women in top seats. So we were never able to really show what we're capable of. So then when we go into Indy and we're with a bottom tier team that doesn't quite have the budget and we don't do well, then other teams and other sponsors are like, oh, well, like, she doesn't know what she's doing, she can't race, like, why are we going to sponsor her? We can go sponsor this guy that's winning. When it really boils down to majority of women aren't given the opportunity. And there are some teams, like Brian Herta has given me a great opportunity here, and it's been a great program, and I would love to continue moving forward with them. So we've made a lot of progress, but I think we still have a long way to go.
What are your thoughts on the W Series and the opportunities it presents to females versus the message of gender equality in motorsports?
That's also kind of a tricky one. I think it's a really good opportunity for women in motorsports, and it does a lot for us publicity-wise, as well as some of them have gone on to be two-time champions there and get a lot of money out of it. Some of them have gone to get sponsorships, F1 test drivers, Indy drivers now. So, like, it's done quite a bit for women in motorsports, but I think I don't want to say it sends the wrong message, but in my opinion, we've worked so hard to coexist with men and to prove that we're just as good as them, to then turn around and segregate ourselves and make an entire series that is really just pitting women against women to see who is the better female, whereas
Who is the best women driver?
Exactly. Whereas we have other drivers who are out here trying to beat the men to show that we're just as good. So it does a lot, but it also kind of takes a back step.
I agree.
So.
All right, and that is it here at the Rolex 24. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great race, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna get in this bad boy.